Europe on the brink, the energy crisis fueling economic collapse. The ban on the flow of Russian gas to Europe through Ukrainian territory marks a pivotal moment in what could be the absolute economic and social collapse of the European continent. A fractured energy partnership. The energy relationship between Russia and Europe has been under strain for years, but now it appears to be nearing its definitive end. After almost 3 years of sanctions, sabotage, and geopolitical turmoil, the Moscow-EU energy partnership suffered its most significant blow on January 1, 2025. Ukraine fulfilled its promise not to extend its energy transit agreement with Gazprom, effectively severing the flow of Russian gas to European buyers via Ukrainian pipelines. This decision leaves the European Union in a precarious state of energy insecurity, particularly during the height of winter, when gas demand is at its peak. For years, even amidst sanctions imposed on Russia since 2022, some European nations continued to benefit from Russian gas. Slovakia and Hungary openly resisted anti-Russian boycotts, while Austria maintained its neutral stance, continuing its imports. Even countries like Italy, Poland, Romania, and Moldova, which adhered to sanctions publicly, quietly received Russian gas or benefited indirectly through gas resale by intermediary nations. With the Ukrainian route now defunct, all these states have lost a crucial energy lifeline. Although current energy reserves may mitigate immediate challenges, the longer-term outlook is bleak. European nations will be forced to seek alternative energy sources or expand reliance on the remaining Russian gas routes via Turkey and the Black Sea, where rising prices among Asian exporters and Ankara's strategic leverage are expected to exacerbate the situation. The false promise of alternatives. Some European leaders are placing their hopes on the Qatari-Turkish pipeline project, which would traverse Syria. Proponents of this plan argue it could finally liberate Europe from its dependency on Russian gas. However, the project's feasibility depends on a fragile and unlikely scenario: the stabilization of Syria, a nation plagued by conflict and fragmentation since the fall of Bashar al-Assad's government. Turkey and Qatar may have an interest in pacifying Syria to enable construction, but key strategic players like the US and Israel have little motivation to resolve the crisis. For Tel Aviv, a destabilized Syria ensures no opposition to its territorial ambitions in the Golan Heights and beyond. Meanwhile, Washington benefits from maintaining Europe's energy dependency while fostering Kurdish factions to perpetuate instability. Western analysts often overlook the harsh reality: the unipolar power bloc led by the US does not prioritize solving Europe's energy crisis. Instead, Washington views Europe's collapse as a strategic objective. A deindustrialized, economically fragile Europe aligns with US geopolitical goals by eliminating the potential for Russian-European integration, an outcome that would undermine the dominance of the US-UK Atlantic axis. The scorched earth strategy. The closure of the Ukrainian gas route is not an isolated event but part of a larger Anglo-American strategy. This campaign includes the Nord Stream sabotage, crippling sanctions, and systematic pressure to sever Europe's energy ties with Russia. The overarching goal is clear: provoke an energy collapse that triggers widespread deindustrialization and socio-economic crisis. For Washington, a weakened Europe serves as a buffer zone incapable of forming strategic partnerships with Moscow. The collapse ensures Europe remains dependent on American energy, military protection, and economic support, while any aspirations for sovereignty or geopolitical independence are stifled. The inevitable consequences. The loss of the Ukrainian route represents a significant victory for the US in its economic war against Europe. However, this victory comes at the expense of ordinary Europeans, who will face the brunt of rising energy costs, failing industries, and mounting social unrest. The continent's governments will struggle to maintain cohesion as the twin crises of energy insecurity and economic downturn take hold. Conclusion. Europe now stands on the precipice of an unprecedented collapse, one driven not only by external pressures but also by internal disunity and misplaced trust in its so-called allies. The hope for alternative energy solutions remains slim, and the cost of inaction or reliance on unstable geopolitical dynamics will be dire. For Europe to navigate this crisis, it must reconsider its energy policies, diversify supply chains, and, most importantly, assert greater autonomy in its geopolitical decision-making. Failure to do so will only accelerate its descent into economic ruin, leaving the continent ill-equipped to face the challenges of the 21st century.
Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, share, and like the video. Check out these other From the Other Side specials.